I have created two variables. I called it v underscore a and v underscore b. Not more creative than you all. I just added v underscore. We're going to get inputs for the two variables. Yes.
But the reasons you use console out and the
Louder, Josh.
What?
Why use cout instead of printf? Why use cn instead of scanf? One, they are different languages. C uses printf, scanf. C++, cout, cin. And of course, here you can simply use std and you're done. You don't need %f, %s, all that extra stuff, because C++ was the next upgrade from C, which is why we're using cout, cin. Different languages, different syntax, but they do the same job. So I have two, go ahead.
Oh, just a question. It seems like this is supposed to be like the upgrade, but it feels like having to do like cout, std, cn, doing that a bunch of times. Seems like it would be longer than the scanf and printf.
Okay, so Lucas, what did you say?
No, and C++ is console out. You just have to type in the variable name and get your variable there. And you have to go do all the tedious stuff, going through each and every variable and putting in the data type assignment.
Did you follow what? If you want to do, say, print a float, right? You have to do %f, right? And then you have to specify a variable name. Not only that, if you do scanf, you've got to do % something and do ampersand v. You have additional things to take care of. So each variable that you put in here, you have to do %f, %u, %i, too much work.
And there's
Right.
also a high probability that like you'll write down
You would
wrong.
make a mistake, right? Which is why we don't use, I mean, this is an upgrade. And another thing, I like typing. And as I've been saying since day one, if you want to be a good programmer, learn to type properly first, right? So in other words, you've got to have that speed. Another reason why I keep typing, this part right there, std : it's optional. As Anthony pointed out, if you did using namespace std, that part's not needed. You can simply do cout, cin, cout, cin. I'm doing it because it's a more effective way of programming. Good. So if you add a statement using namespace std, we've done this before. We have. You don't have to specify any of those. Good. Okay. Going to pick a number 14. 9 things work out. Now, I'm going to create an expression, and you can tell me if this is a relational expression or logical expression. Before we start, is that a relational expression or is it a logical expression? Isabella, can't hear you. It is a relational expression because the operator that we have is greater than We have greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, not equal to, equal to. They're all relational. But before we proceed, will this work? Look at the code and tell me if this will work. Anthony says no. Why not?
Could be a double equal sign.
Okay, so first, wrong equal sign has to be a double equal sign if you're going to do a test. Another, I'll give you a hint. It has something to do with the first part of the relational expression. So I'm going to get rid of equal to 4. Let's get rid of that. There is another mistake. Cannot be used with percent. Percent is modulo, so you need to have an integer. So I'm going to create an integer variable, int. I'll call it cast underscore A. Going to use static underscore cast followed by int. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this variable v underscore a, which is of type double. I'm doing a static cast, which would simply mean you're going to convert its data type to an integer and save it to cast underscore a. Good, Robert.
But the underscore A stays the same as the double, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm getting an error because I'm doing it with v underscore a. So that is the error I referred to earlier. If you do the modular operator on v underscore a, you're going to get an error. So I'm going to cast it to cast underscore a, see what happens. Go ahead and execute after typing. And so once I casted the variable to integer, things worked out. You should notice something, that I didn't put anything after the if statement, and it didn't bother the compiler at all. It's a perfectly valid statement, but will it work if I put a semicolon in line number 19? So unlike last time, I didn't do a C out statement, C in statement, none of those. I simply put an if statement. Compiler didn't have an issue. If I put a semicolon there, will it be a problem? Absolutely. Oops, no. Did I save? Go ahead, Robert.
So the percent sign will not work with double. Will also not work with floats. It works with integers. Yeah.
If you want to do it with double, what would we use? We've been over this also. If you insist on using it with the double modulo, what will we use? we were absolute that this is going to result in an error when we put a semicolon. We're pretty sure about it. Scott here said yes, but did it run? Yes, no, maybe. Mine did.
Yeah, well, that would-
Robert, did it work?
Oh, not with the semicolon,
Okay.
not the semicolon.
I keep running it with the semicolon and it works. Didn't. So what we were absolutely certain that it's going to result in an error, it didn't, but unless they're getting a warning. Now, why did it run? That is the first question that you should ask. We know that we can't put a semicolon after the parentheses, but it ran perfectly here without any problems. Why? Think, Robert.
It doesn't recognize, like the compiler doesn't fully recognize it as a complete if statement since there's no like clauses underneath it.
Okay, that's one. Lucas.
I was thinking it maybe had something to do with that is technically the end of the function, so it passes through it normally, but if there was the rest of the function there, you could probably put a semicolon at the end of the curly brackets and it might work.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to move that semicolon to the next line, line number 20. Yes. This is no different from what I had earlier. Do you agree? Yes, no, maybe. Having that semicolon in line number 19 at the end of that parentheses is no different from having the semicolon in line number 20. By all means, the way the compiler reads is you have an if statement, an expression, moves to the next line, and the next line is your new statement. Good. This is what I want you to do. I'll put a comment, but revert back to what we had earlier. Instead of one semicolon, put two semicolons and tell me what you get. So revert back to what I had earlier, combine semicolon with the parentheses, closing parentheses, put another semicolon, so two semicolons, and tell me what happens. Comments here, but if I moved it up there, I could put 10, 20, 30, 40, as many semicolons as I want. Makes no difference because the compiler is going to read it as line 1, line 2, yes, go on.
So you could check it again. The entire line 20 and do one character per line. And as long as there's a semicolon in the bottom, like it's breakable.
An empty space is permitted, that's all. So all that's preceding that semicolon in line 21 is an empty space. As long as it is an empty space, you're not going to get an error. So you could have thousands of these and it'll still work. So if you present a statement now, oh, oops. Since I put a comment, I'm going to type another line. Same relational expression, but this time if I enter a statement or include a statement, I don't want to say true. I'll simply say the statement works. In this case, I cannot add a semicolon at the end of line 22. So go ahead, type, execute, then tell me if the condition works. Cast underscore A, give it some number, test it with the true case and the false case. The condition, of course, whether it's true or false, is going to depend on the values that I provide to A and B. I did save. $12, $20. If B underscore B is 20, regardless of what you have for cast underscore A, the result would always be greater than 11. Do you agree? So the statement works. Now, 12, negative 10, nothing happens because the statement failed. No matter whether you have a relational expression or logical expression, the result of it, when you use it in an if statement, is of what data type? Heard a sound. Where is that sound coming from? Boolean. So regardless of whether you have a relational expression or logical expression, an if statement right there, when it tests, it is testing for a Boolean result. If it is true, you would get that statement. This is a one-liner if statement, so I don't need set brackets or curly brackets. What should happen if the condition failed? The condition is nothing but the expression in line number 22. If it failed, I'm going to give another statement. Good day. How about that? So I'm going to pick a number so that the expression in line number 22 fails. So first number, I'm going to give 12. Next number, negative 16. Condition fails. If the condition in line number 22 fails, it is going to skip the body of if part, will move over to the else part. Note, you cannot put a semicolon after else, typically right here. But would it be okay if I put a semicolon in line number 24? Give it a try. So, few things. Ask you to put a semicolon in line number 24. If we put a semicolon, will it change things? To test it, we have to give, failing numbers. In other words, the condition has to fail. So first number 12, second number negative 100. 12 more 2 is 0. 0 minus 100 is negative 100. Is negative 100 greater than 11? Absolutely not. So the expression will result in false. It is going to skip line 23, and then it is going to go to the else part. Agreed? Because the condition failed, moves to else. Now, here is a question. Did it print good day because the if statement failed, or does it have nothing to do with the if-else statement?
No, not going to do with it.
Scott says nothing to do with it, Robert.
Nothing to do with it.
Why?
Because when you put the like the semicolon, that like ended the else statement. So even if you get the correct answer, it'll print out both the statement works and the
Wonderful. Very good. That is the correct answer. So this is very similar to what I did in lines 20 and 21. That semicolon simply means this. I could keep on putting semicolons, not a problem, as long as they are preceded by a white space. All that happened when I did that right there is the part that follows the else statement is that empty semicolon. Line number 25 is whatever that happens after execution of the if-else block. Good. Kylan, what is your question? Ask to the class, yeah.
Oh, my question was why after else why did the both?
Good. So Kylan's question was, why do we have a semicolon at the end? No.
No, well, the question was you had a semicolon after else, why does that both statement?
Ah, I see. Yes, that is correct. So it prints both statements because it doesn't recognize this statement at all, the statement in line number 25. Again, I could put 10, 20,000, 10,000 semicolons and keep on doing, it will still work. Good, because empty space, empty space, empty space. We demonstrated that case earlier. Now, so far we've done only. Go on, Scott.
If this program were to continue, if there was more stuff after the else statement, would all of that need to be in curly brackets?
Now, continue in the sense, got to move and do something else.
Yeah.
You can proceed without putting curly brackets.
So what is the single, is this still a single statement, if statement,
Mhm.
even
So-
though it has an else on it?
Do we follow what Scott is asking? So if I proceed with doing some of the operation past line 25, it's just another expression. I can keep on adding more statements. One-liner if, one-liner else, perfectly fine. If you insist on putting curly brackets, go ahead, more power to you. Not necessary. Yes.
Trying to believe, logic change. Is like, in this case, if you had a semicolon after else, if one was true, the other would be true for one of the statements, but if one was true, the other one would be false.
Let's not get that. One step at a time, baby steps. Could get confusing as is. So are we clear so far? I'm going to add more stuff to it. So we have if, else, both one-liners. What if I've wanted to have another condition? So in Python, you would have heard elif. Here it is else if. Isabella, question? No? Okay. So else if cast underscore a equal to 1. Let's see. It is sunny and nice. Going to try, type just that. So some programming languages are very particular about if, else if. They have to end with an else statement. If we have if, else if, it has to end with another else statement. I don't have an else statement here at all. It just jumps to the next line. Because if condition 1 fails, condition 2 fails, it'll just move on to the next line. So else becomes optional. Now, I am going to enter a bunch of combinations. This is how you need to think logically. So you can give me a number. I would prefer it to be even.
35, 36. Oh,
36. It's only Tuesday, Robert. A value for the second number greater than 12. 13. Wow, creative. So, logic. So, what is 12 mod 2? Is it 12 or 36? Oh, my bad. 36 mod 2, 0 plus 13. Is that number greater than 11? Yes. Tested that condition. It moves on to good day. Good day has nothing to do with the else if statement. If you want to include good day with the else if statement, what do we need? Curly brackets. Good. Now, I'm going to change something in this code. Instead of cast underscore A equal to 2, I'm going to do cast underscore A mod 2 equals 0. So I changed my code so that line number 24, I'm doing the modulo of the variable that I just casted. Go ahead.
Took out the semicolon after it's on the night. Would that still be considered a one-liner?
It's a great question. If we took the semicolon after it is sunny and nice, would it be considered a one-liner? Scott, I want you to remove that semicolon and execute it. Anyone else, do you want to guess as to what would happen? Don't cheat. Louisiana? Huh? Robert says it will work, Louisiana.
You know, arrows. You remember the semicolon?
Yeah, if you remove the semicolon here. Will it work or will not work?
You gotta pick out, well, if you took out CL.
Okay, so if we took the semicolon out, it is not going to work because what follows that semicolon is an identifier. So identifiers go in separate lines. So you can, for instance, get rid of the semicolon and simply type else, E-L-S-E. That will be an error because else is an identifier. It is a keyword, so can't do. The only thing that you can have here is a white space, you know, or simply a space. That is fine. But if you remove that semicolon, it is going to give a problem because I have STD : CR. Did I answer that question, Scott?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm going to run the same code, but this time going to use the same numbers. I did make one change for this time, line number 24. I changed it to cast_a mod 2. Now, even before we start running this stuff, let's use logic. The numbers were 36 and 13. 36 mod 2 is 0. Yes. So the value of cast_a mod 2 is 0. 0 plus 13 is 13. 13 is a greater than 11. Yes, no, maybe. Yes. Easy question, people. So 13 is greater than 11. So it is going to print the statement works. Moves on to line 24, and it reads cast_a mod 2 equals 0. Well, cast_a is 36. 36 mod 2 is 0. So the expression in line 24 is also true. So should it also print it is sunny and nice?
No.
Why not, Robert?
Else, if it's like if the top is not correct, then you put it.
Very good. So it is not going to print it is sunny and nice because it is an else if statement. So things are going to go sequentially in the sense if the first condition in line number 22 fails, it is going to move on to the next condition, which is in line number 24. If that fails, it is going to go seek for the next else if condition. It'll keep on going until it hits a what?
True.
Which is, if everything fails,
Oh, everything, good day and good day.
what?
No.
Did you say you're dead?
That's a good day.
Oh, good day, okay.
Friend, no matter what, though.
Not if you're dead. Good day will print no matter, you didn't get the joke, but that's okay. It's a bad joke. Good day will print no matter what, because it's the line after that else if part. So if all else fails, we simply put an else statement. That is good practice. Whether you want something an else or not, put an else in the end. Okay, so if condition 1 fails, condition 2 fails, then it is going to print the else statement. So going to go for an easy case. I've got to save. 1, 0. Again, logic. Cast_a modulo 2 simply be 1. 1 plus the second number 0 is 1. Is it greater than 11? No, that condition is false. So skip, move on to expression in line 24. Again, since I entered 1, cast_a is 1. Condition in line 24 will be false. It is going to skip and off to the very last statement, that is 27. Good? Or in 27. Are we clear? Now, finally, curly braces. How about that? Keep it simple. So what I did is I added one more statement to the else part. I want to pass an even number and the second number in such a way I want both conditions to fail. Make sure you save your file before you execute. Even number, so 16. Second number, 2. 16 more 2 is 0. 0 plus 2 is 2. It will not satisfy the first condition. Skip. Off to the next one. 16 more 2 is in fact 0. I'm expecting sunny and nice to be the output. And the output is it is sunny and nice. This time I'm going to go for an odd number. 17. 17 more 2, 1. 1 plus the second number, 2 is 3. And 3 is not greater than 11. Fails that statement. Since 3 more 2 is 1, the condition in else if will fail. It moves on to that block right there. Couple of questions. Question number 1. What would happen if I put a semicolon after the curly brace? Will I get an error or would everything be perfectly fine? I can't hear you. Someone speaking? I just hear sounds. It'll be fine. Okay. Let's see. Good. Now, why is everything peachy and things are working?
You closed out the else statement, so
Very good.
adding a semicolon, which is like adding another line.
Very good. So adding a semicolon simply means that. You can put thousands of them. All you're saying is there are a bunch of white spaces. Well, not a big deal. Great. Could I put a semicolon after else if in line number 24? Just think, let's not cheat. In other words, execute. Do you think it is going to execute? Robert thinks that it is not going to. Any other answers?
So, I think you'll execute, but it won't do what you want it to do,
Okay.
not in all situations.
Jeez. It didn't. Now, Scott made a good point. It will, but it's not going to do what it's supposed to. I completely agree with Scott, provided that else statement wasn't there. Good. The moment you put that semicolon, that will be a line. That statement has nothing to do with if, and you have an else hanging by itself. An else statement cannot hang by itself. Good. It has to accompany an if statement. So putting that semicolon will not have any issues as long as the else wasn't there. If you look in the error clearly states else without a previous if. Good. Clear? So if I comment this out, will it run? But is it going to give me the desired output? No, because, 12, 2, no matter what, it is going to print, it is sunny and nice. Do we agree? Yes.
Yeah.
Because the statement that belongs to else if is just an empty space. Are we clear? Good. So key thing to note. One-liners do not require curly braces, and else statement must be accompanied by an if statement. Could an else if statement exist on its own? Yes or no? Else if. No. The moment you put else, you are looking for either some statement or another condition. So an else if statement cannot exist on its own. So both of them need an if statement. And an if statement exists on its own. Absolutely, it can't. So else can't do on its own, else if can't do on its own. If, else if can't do without an else, perfectly fine. Is there a limit to number of if else statements that you can use? No. There are no limits, but too many else if statements. Perhaps you've got to think about the logic. Sometimes you just can't avoid them, but if at all possible, you can rethink and come up with a different logic.